In an effort to bring our districts and schools up to speed regarding Web 2.0 technologies and how they affect students and schools at large, this presentation, titled Appropriate Use: Digital Citizens Coming to a School Near You, will focus specifically on digital citizens, what it means, why it is important, who is responsible for molding good digital citizens, and some general policies for schools dealing with this topic. As we all know, technology is everywhere. This cartoon aptly portrays how embedded technology has become in our lives. The mother has stayed up late, as mothers and fathers are known to do, waiting for her son to come home. As he finally comes sauntering in the door, she reprimands him. Would it kill you to update your Twitter status if you're going to stay out late? We all chuckle at this cartoon because of the humor that it puts behind this new reality that we are living, an online reality. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's start at the beginning. The evolution of defining a digital citizen. This isn't to imply that the digital citizen was once something else, but rather that it has taken some time getting to a definition, and that's likely it not yet fully defined. We will look at 3 definitions, beginning with, what is a citizen? A citizen is an inhabitant of a city or a town, especially one entitled to the rights and privileges of freemen. This definition was taken from the Merriam-Webster Dictionary Online. The next definition is taken from an article written by Ribble, Bailey, and Ross in 2004. Mike Ribble is one of the leading educators working on defining and developing good digital citizenship. He teaches at Manhattan Ogden in Manhattan, Kansas. They state that digital citizenship is the norms of behavior with regard to technology use. The final definition we will look at is from the American School in London from 2011. They write that digital citizenship is teaching users the rules of good citizenship online. This usually includes email etiquette, protecting private information, staying safe online, and how to deal with bullying, whether you're a target or a bystander. As you can see by these definitions, noticing that as the dates increase, the definition of digital citizenship becomes more complex. As the next few words flash by on the presentation screen, each person should think about how that concept applies to their own personal digital use. Networking, sharing, safety, ethics, responsibility. Who is responsible? What are the consequences? Where does school fit in? As you can see, the definition has evolved beyond just knowing how to use email and the internet to include a variety of different aspects of life and society. Next, we come to the heart of it. What's the big deal? Beginning with the importance of being a good digital citizen, there are many different ways to approach this issue, but they all return to one main idea: safety. Whether you are talking about your own personal safety when using the internet or the safety of others at home, school, or in the mall, safety is the driving force. There continues to be a problem with the lack of discipline. According to statistics based on a survey of young Canadian users conducted in 2004, it was found that they considered the internet to be faceless. 14% of those teens have been threatened while using instant messaging, and 16% of them admit to posting hateful comments online. That's nearly 2 out of every 10 children who have experienced receiving or posting hateful comments online. Mike Ribble, who was mentioned earlier, developed the 9 elements of digital citizens. They are having digital access, using digital commerce, participating in digital communication, digital literacy, which is knowing the most current digital jargon, digital etiquette, having manners online, digital law, the rules of being on, posting on and using material from online, digital rights and responsibilities. This includes copyright and fair use, and finally, digital security, being safe. The next big deal is responsibility. There are only a few people who can really take the blame for behavior online: parents, school, and students. In regards to parents, they need to be cyber literate, lead by example, and be aware of the laws. Parents truly can no longer be innocent bystanders while their children are running virtual circles around them. There is no need to plunge headlong into the LOL society. But in order to lead by example and know what the laws are for digital crimes, like abuses of copyright and fair use, the Common Creative License, and cyberbullying, being cyber literate is the first step. Next, schools. Schools hold a piece in the responsibility puzzle. Schools need to create appropriate use policies, install internet filters, have an open dialogue with students, and integrate technology use into the curriculum. The handout that goes along with this presentation gives some good websites that have useful information as well as lessons for safety and other ways to integrate technology into the classroom. I'd like to quickly expand on the point of having an open dialogue with students. As in the days of the Just Say No to Drugs campaign, talking about and reiterating appropriate use and regulations cannot be encouraged enough. Like learning anything new that is socially and ethically complex, becoming good digital citizens takes practice and some good old trial and error. An open dialogue lets students know that you are listening to their experiences and encouraging them to think critically about their behavior. We come to the last set of persons responsible for safety and being safe: students. Students need to be educated about copyright and fair use laws. They need to be mindful of their unintended online audience, and they need to be prepared to accept the consequences of online bullying and harassment. You can see several court cases listed in the references following this presentation, as well as being listed on the handout. These are all cases where students were held legally responsible for information posted online. Paying particular attention to the second point here, be mindful of an unintended online audience. We would like to believe that by setting all the privacies correctly on our browser and networking sites, in school and at home, that means no unintended viewers see personal information shared online. But that simply is not true. A good rule of thumb is if you wouldn't say it to someone's face, you shouldn't post it online. The last area in which being a good digital citizen is a big deal is in regard to school policies. Schools have a responsibility to provide a safe environment, which is why their piece in this is so important. Creating appropriate use policies is one of the most important ways that schools can ensure a safe environment. The next two slides cover information that should be included in an appropriate use policy. Listing instructional philosophies and strategies supported by internet use. Outlining educational uses and advantages to the internet for the district. Listing responsibilities of educators, parents, and students. Making clear the code of conduct. Listing consequences for the violation of the code. Then state what are acceptable and unacceptable use. Include a disclaimer protecting the school regarding inappropriate material that may be found on the internet. Remind the students that using the internet is a privilege. Include the state and national rules and regulations for telecommunication. And finally, require a signature of intent to abide by the appropriate use policy from educators, parents, and students. At the end of the day, there is simply no getting around it anymore. Digital citizens and good digital citizenship is extremely important as the new age of technology continues to grow and further embed itself into our society and our lives. I just want to remind everyone of the additional information provided in the handout. The online resources included websites with information about safety, and the last website listed has lesson plans centered on including technology in the classroom. As I mentioned earlier, the court cases listed are some of the most current cases regarding cyberbullying. These cases and the subsequent court rulings are beginning to carve out what will become the full and legal definition of good digital citizenship. This handout will also be available for viewing on the district website. Thank you for your time, and remember, when you're online, be a good digital citizen.